Hello everyone, we are going to be talking today about former Chicago Blackhawks Bobby Hull player career. And before we started here, I did just want to say that we are just going to get it right out there. Bobby Hull is a guy that is very controversial and is a guy that has had a lot of things said about him, a lot of cases where it looked like things were going to go to court. I am saying right now, I do not condone any of that behavior. I am not going to just pump this guy's tires and talk about, how I think he's a great human being or anything. We're going to talk about his career. And that is that I absolutely am aware of all the things that have been brought to light about him, even though I think some people are going to argue and say, oh, those weren't taken to court or whatever. Regardless, I'm just going to tell you right now, that stuff's not acceptable, to anything like domestic violence, anything like that, not acceptable. So there you go. Now, in terms of Bobby's career, obviously it was a very storied one. He finished his career with 610 goals, 560 assists, and 1,170 points in just over 1,000 games played. Primarily, he played that time with the Chicago Blackhawks from 1957 through 1972. He did have a really short stint with the Winnipeg Jets when they were able to go over to the NHL from the WHA. And then also he played, I want to say something like 9 games as a Hartford Whaler. I don't think it was double digits. It definitely wasn't double digits, but I think a big thing that we look back on for his career is the fact that he won a Stanley Cup with Chicago in 1961. That was going to be a cup that ended a long drought at that time before him, and then would be the really long cup drought, I believe, right after. Maybe it wasn't. I cannot remember it. It would have had to have been that really long drought afterwards. Chicago didn't win from 61 to 2010. Yeah, that's right. But also on top of that, he was a 2-time Hart winner in the 64-65 season, and then backed it up again in the 65-66 season. He's also a 3-time Ross winner, 1959-60 season, 1961-62 season, and the 1965-66 season. So of course, in terms of what he brought to the ice, a very valuable player. He's also the first player, I believe, to hit 50 goals in a season, I want to say. I don't know if that's WHA or NHL. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But he's also first all-time in Blackhawks history for goals with 604. You look at how old that franchise is, that is a pretty notable thing to lead right there, an original 6 team to lead all-time goals scored. For instance, if you're thinking about where Patrick Kane ranks, right now he is 3rd. And I don't think he's even hit 400 goals yet, so he would still have a long way to go if he tried to pass Hull. And we already know that the rumors are swirling around if Kane's going to get traded. But as for Hull, he did have a very successful WHA career, and he won 2 AVCO Cups with the Winnipeg Jets in the 1976 and 1978 seasons. So he was able to have success when he ended up leaving the NHL for a while before the WHA. If I'm not mistaken, he also signed a long deal with the Jets at that time. They were able to win 2 championships, and he was also a 2-time Gordie Howe Trophy winner, which is basically the WHA MVP. I think it was called something else, but they also renamed it to the Gordie Howe Trophy. And of course, in recent years, a lot of people know that he was a team ambassador for Chicago from 2008 till 2022. Last year, they removed him from that role, primarily because of all the things that have come to light against him, or the fact that people really view it now especially as unacceptable. And I just really wanted to say at the end of this video, again, while we talked about all these accolades in his career and the fact that of course he is remembered by a lot of fans as this guy that they love, this stuff is unacceptable regardless. And I wanted to say that I want to hear what you think is going to happen with his legacy. I really don't know what's going to happen here. I go online, I see a lot of people saying that they loved him as a player, great guy, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I also know that some of that shine might wear off in the future. But what are your thoughts on this? Let me know down below. And do you feel like, there will be anything else coming out of this? Anyway, please make sure to stay safe, have a great night, and you go with hockey, all right?